to Swiggy, wherein 83% of the shareholding in the Swiggy will be unlocked on 13th of May. This as the post-listing lock-in period for the company's shareholders is set to end. Let's go across to Soumit for more on what the share price movement looks like and the shareholding pattern.
Well, Swiggy remains in focus given the fact that yesterday, if you see the share price jump, it was nearly 13%, the biggest single day jump that we have seen for the stock since listing. But will this party last for Swiggy? Doesn't seem like, given the fact that the share supply for Swiggy is expected to increase. On May 13, nearly 83% of the shareholding, which is currently locked in, will be free, and these shareholders will be free to sell their shares. Now, this lock-in that is getting removed is a 6-month lock-in post-IPO, which will be removed from May 13. So keep an eye out for this. 83% of shareholding will be coming out of the lock-in period. Now, here's how is the share price moved since listing till now. The IPO price was 396. On the listing day, the closing price was 456. The all-time high for Swiggy we have seen is at around 617 rupees, while the current market price, now if you look at that, around 34, that is 14% down compared to the IPO price and nearly 46% down compared to the all-time high. So given the fact that the share price is down, one might put out the question that why would a shareholder who's holding shares will sell? Now, if you look at the cost of acquisition for these old shareholders or the old FI shareholders who are coming out of lock-in, that is very low. For Naspers, which is the one of the major shareholder, owns around 25.4% stake, the cost of acquisition is 131, which is nearly half of what the current market price is. And yes, Naspers had sold shares in the IPO as well. SoftBank owns around 7.6% stake, the cost of acquisition is 194, and they have not sold any shares in the IPO process. Accel India around 4.1%, cost of acquisition is as low as just 11.2 rupees per share, but they have also sold shares in the IPO process. Apart from that, there is Tencent Cloud, Inc. Holding, Northwest Ventures, acquisition cost is anywhere between 14 to 165 rupees. Some of them have sold shares in the IPO process, while some of them have not. Now, if you look at the total FI holding, which is coming out of the lock-in period, that stands at around 58.4%. If you look at the next graphic plate, 58.4% of the FI holding is coming out of the lock-in period. Of this, nearly 55.5% of the shareholding is the cost of acquisition for nearly 55.5% stake is much more than the acquisition cost. To be precise, around 9.6% of the shareholding pattern, the shareholding that they have, the acquisition cost or the current market price is nearly 23 to 30 times their acquisition cost. As we had seen, some of them were holding shares at a low price of around 11 rupees or 15 rupees. For them, the current market price is nearly 23 to 30 times compared to their acquisition cost. For 4.2% of the shareholding, the current market price is nearly 3 times the acquisition cost, and nearly for 41.7% of the holding, the current market price is nearly 2 times the acquisition cost. So though the current market price is lower compared to the IPO price, these FI holders are sitting on gains. Now, another interesting part that we are catching up here is that of the 14 FI shareholders who own stake in Swiggy, 5 of them have not sold shares in the IPO process, and they hold around close to 14.7% stake in the company. Now, of these, 3 of them, which own close to 11.8% stake, they are sitting on gains of nearly 1.8 times. So they could also go ahead and sell their shares in Swiggy, while the remaining of them are sitting on losses of just 6.7%. So keep an eye out for Swiggy, given the fact that those share prices are lower compared to the current compared to the IPO price. The FI holders who are coming out of the lock-in are still sitting on handsome gains when it comes to Swiggy.
Right. Thank you so much, Soumit, for all the details. You know, the interesting point here is on the analyst view, if you see the highest target price given to the Swiggy is almost 740 rupees, while the lowest target price is 260, which is given by Macquarie. Raghvendra, just wanted your view. Do you track this counter? Because interesting, you know, when it comes to the analyst target price given at a very low range and at a very high end of almost 740 rupees by ICICI Securities.
Yes, Varsha, that's a very wide range in terms of what the street has target recommendations. I guess 260 and 750, and currently the stock is trading at around levels of 340. So we believe that this story, overall the theme in terms of booking and quick commerce actually has a long way to go in India in terms of the frequency of usage, in terms of the average ticket size of every order, in terms of the penetration these apps would have across pan India. So we believe that this undercurrent could continue, where both the Swiggy and Zomato Eternal would actually do very well. The companies actually have a high burn rate currently, and that is because of the expansion they are doing in terms of different geographies, in terms of different segments. But broadly, this space has room only for 3 or 4 players pan India wise, and in an app or a mobile piece, we can have only 2 such apps downloaded. And I think Swiggy would largely be one of them. So we believe that Swiggy on every dip would be a buying candidate. If the stock corrects to levels of 310, 300, it is becomes a better buy for a price target of around 420. So we believe that there is a 30% upside, 20% from current levels, or if the stock corrects by 10%, we believe a 30% upside on an investment horizon of 12 to 15 months is possible. This is again a stock which where we have to ignore the EPS in terms of the next few quarters, and believe that the slow and steady upmarch of this stock would continue for targets of around 420.
That's the view
Continue
with
to hold Swiggy at current levels of 340.
Okay, so that's the view with regards to where Swiggy stands. And interesting, because Raghavendra said that buy on dips is the strategy for Swiggy that one should adopt.